Have you ever really thought about parks? Not just glanced at them as you pass by, but really considered what they mean to a city and the people who live there? They're these odd, wonderful spaces in the middle of our cities, places to walk your dog, picnic, or just escape the noise. Parks are where city life slows down, where you can breathe a little easier and let your mind wander. Parks are the city's collective backyard, the only spot where lying on the grass is totally normal. It's where strangers become neighbors and where the city feels just a bit more like home. Without them, we'd just be stuck in traffic, breathing exhaust. Imagine a city with no green spaces, just endless concrete and car horns. Most parks are simple: trees, grass, maybe a creaky swing. They're humble, but they matter. They're the lungs of the city and the heart of the community. But sometimes, a city gets bold. It dreams bigger and decides to create something truly extraordinary. That's where our story begins, not with any park, but with one that looks like it belongs in a fairy tale or a wild dream. A place where imagination runs free. Imagine benches shaped like colorful serpents, columns like ancient trees, in a place that's more art than park. Every corner is a surprise, every path a new adventure. This isn't your average neighborhood green space. It's a testament to the idea that public spaces can be magical and tell a story. Parks can inspire, delight, and even challenge us to see the world differently. And this park story, it's about big dreams, bigger budgets, and a real estate plan that went spectacularly, beautifully wrong. So buckle up, because this is not your typical park tale. We're heading to Barcelona, a city of late-night dinners, passionate soccer fans, and architecture that looks like it's melting in the sun. It's a place where creativity is part of everyday life. We're going to Park Güell, a place that started as an exclusive housing project and ended up as a playground for everyone. It's a park that welcomes the world, no matter who you are. Sometimes the best things in life happen when our original plans fail completely, and sometimes those happy accidents become the heart of a city. Let's talk about Barcelona, a city with a personality that's impossible to ignore. It's a place where every street corner feels alive, buzzing with energy and creativity. If cities were people, Barcelona would be the cool, artistic cousin, the one with paint on their clothes, wild stories to tell, and a knack for turning the ordinary into something extraordinary. Here, the old and new don't just coexist, they dance together in a vibrant, ever-changing rhythm. The city's skyline is a patchwork of centuries, each era adding its own flair. You can wander through shadowy Gothic alleys, feeling the weight of history, then suddenly stumble on a building that looks like it belongs underwater, surreal, colorful, and full of imagination. Barcelona is the capital of Catalonia, a region with its own proud culture, unique language, and a fierce sense of independence that shapes daily life and local traditions. Around 1900, the city was booming, wealthy, modern, and ready to show off its new identity to the world. It was a time of ambition and transformation. This was the era of modernism, Barcelona's answer to Art Nouveau. Think bold curves, bursts of color, and nature-inspired designs everywhere you look. Architects weren't just building structures, they were making bold statements, pushing the boundaries of what a city could look and feel like. The city became a playground for wild ideas, a place where being different wasn't just accepted, it was celebrated and encouraged at every turn. It was the perfect setting for a visionary project, one that needed a city brave enough to embrace the weird, the wonderful, and the unexpected. Barcelona was that city. Here, artists could dream big, even if that meant building a whimsical wonderland on a hill, where creativity had no limits and imagination ruled. This creative energy set the stage for one of the most famous collaborations in architectural history, a partnership that would forever change the city's landscape and spirit. Every great project starts with an idea, and Park Güell's was ambitious. Güell, a wealthy industrialist, wanted to create a luxurious, nature-filled community inspired by English garden cities. He bought a rocky hill on Barcelona's edge, Muntanya Pelada, and planned 60 luxury homes with stunning views. This wasn't just another suburb, it was meant to be a utopian escape for the elite, complete with a market, chapel, and winding paths. The location promised fresh air and breathtaking vistas, far from the city's smog. Güell needed an architect as bold as his vision, someone who could turn dreams into reality. He turned to his friend, Antoni Gaudí, a name now synonymous with Barcelona. Gaudí wasn't just an architect, he was an artist ready to transform a hill into a masterpiece. With Güell's vision and Gaudí's genius, the stage was set for something extraordinary. But as you'll see, things didn't go quite as planned, and that's where the magic began. Antoni Gaudí wasn't your average architect. If architecture was a band, he'd be the eccentric frontman, obsessed with nature, curves, and color. He saw inspiration in tree branches, seashells, and animal skeletons. When he graduated, his professors couldn't decide if he was a fool or a genius. Spoiler genius. Gaudí's style was wild, organic, and deeply symbolic. He sculpted buildings using stone, iron, and vibrant tiles. His partnership with Güell was a creative dream team. Güell had the vision and money, Gaudí had the imagination. For Park Güell, Gaudí didn't just build on the hill, he worked with it. Roads and paths followed the land's natural curves. Drainage systems mimicked nature. He used local rocks and soil, blending architecture and landscape until you couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. It was a radical, sustainable idea, way ahead of its time. Gaudí wasn't just building houses, he was creating an ecosystem. Park Güell would become his canvas and nature his guide. The result? A park unlike any other. Construction began in 1900, and Gaudí's approach was anything but ordinary. He refused to flatten the land. Instead, paths and viaducts flowed with the hill's slopes, supported by columns shaped like tree trunks. Walking through the park feels like wandering a stone forest. The main terrace, Nature Square, was designed as a central market, supported by the hypo-style room, a forest of columns that also collected rainwater for irrigation. Gaudí's genius was everywhere, especially in his use of trencadis mosaics made from broken tiles and glass, collected from local factories. Workers smashed discarded ceramics and arranged the shards into vibrant patterns, recycling before it was cool. This technique gave the park its signature look, from the winding serpent bench to the famous mosaic lizard. Construction was slow and meticulous, lasting 14 years. Gaudí rarely used blueprints, preferring to improvise and adjust as he went. The result is a park that feels handcrafted, alive, and utterly unique. Park Güell wasn't just built, it was brought to life. Park Güell was a masterpiece, but as a real estate venture it flopped. The location was too remote for the city's elite, and there was no easy way to get there. The wealthy preferred the city center, not a hilltop fantasy land. Gaudí's whimsical style was too much for many. Living in a Dr. Seuss landscape wasn't everyone's dream. Of the 60 planned homes, only 2 were built. One bought by a friend, the other by Güell himself. Gaudí even moved in, living there with his family. The grand vision of a bustling elite community became a quiet neighborhood of 3 households. By 1914 the project was abandoned, the dream of a private utopia was over, but the park's story was just beginning. Sometimes failure is just the start of something better, and in this case it was. The ambitious housing project may have failed, but from its ashes, the park found a vibrant new life, one that no one could have predicted. For a time, Park Güell was a private sanctuary for the Güell family, a hidden oasis where they could stroll among Gaudí's fantastical creations. But after Josep Güell's death, his heirs decided to sell the estate to the city of Barcelona, opening the gates to a new chapter. In 1926, Park Güell officially opened to the public, and almost instantly Barcelona fell in love with its whimsical charm and unique spirit. What was once considered too strange and eccentric for the wealthy elite became a magical escape for everyone, regardless of background or age. People from all walks of life flocked to wander its stone forests, sit on the famous serpentine bench, and marvel at the boundless imagination of Gaudí. In 1984, UNESCO recognized Park Güell as a World Heritage Site, cementing its place as a global treasure and a testament to creative vision. Today, Park Güell is a must-see destination, a living museum, a playground for the imagination, and a symbol of Barcelona's creative soul. It's a place where art and nature meet in perfect harmony, sparking joy, curiosity, and wonder in millions of visitors every year. The story of Park Güell is a beautiful accident, a powerful reminder that even when dreams don't go as planned, they can lead to something far greater and more meaningful. Güell and Gaudí set out to build a garden city for the rich, but instead, they created a wonderland for the world to enjoy and cherish. Sometimes the best plans are the ones that fall apart spectacularly, leaving behind something even more extraordinary than anyone could have imagined.